Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert, joined as always by co-host Joel Meyer. How are we doing tonight, Joel?
I am happy. I am happy for Talon because he no longer has to endure Brandon Staley as his favorite team's head coach. They got fucking railroaded last night against the lowly Raiders. they got 63 points scored on them after the Raiders scored 0 against the Vikings on Sunday. So, yeah, but as they say, it's like the Phoenix. You rise from the ashes. You gotta die before you get new life, and that's what happened here with the Chargers. Hopefully, they can get an actual competent coach and GM. The GM was fired as well. I can't remember his name, Teresco or whatever. Yeah. The Chargers are rebuilding again. They can't get it right. Maybe for the 10th time they'll figure things out. But yeah, good for Talon. He gets to know how it feels as a Bears fan cheering for your team to lose to get a higher draft pick.
Yeah, I mean, that was an absolutely shocking result last night on Thursday Night Football. Also happy for Talon to finally get rid of Brandon Staley. He's been wanting that for a while now, as is understood. The Chargers seem to have a lot of talent, and they just can't put it all together. So now hopefully they can get a competent coach, GM, maybe Belichick goes there. Who knows? Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Yes, the rumor is that he's done in New England after this year, so Chargers would definitely be an attractive job for him.
Definitely. Bieniemy too. Bieniemy's been waiting for a job. He's doing work with Sam Howell, so maybe
and he looks better now too. The way that the Chiefs' offense is struggling now that he's gone, so maybe he did have some positive contributions when he was in Kansas City. It wasn't just Andy Reid.
I mean, Tyreek Hill being there definitely helped a lot too. But yeah, Bieniemy, I'm sure had an impact.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, before we get into this, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you all also subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Just search for the Hockey Gambling Podcast. And if you listen to the podcast, we're also on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed over on YouTube. Just search for the Hockey Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Going live there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, pretty much. Monday and Friday between 9 and 10 Eastern. Wednesday sometime earlier. And then Tuesday or Thursday or both sometime between 9 and 10. So make sure you're subscribed, do all that fun stuff there. Turn on auto downloads so you get the episodes in the feed as soon as they are published. And follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. Social media assistant producers doing a great job there. And make sure you get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Discord was down a little bit earlier tonight. I saw people panicking there. Some of the hot takes or the parlays in the Discord may have broke it, but no, it's still there. It's a support system, so make sure we're all in it together there. So get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. You can reach out to me or the HGP Twitter account, and we'll point you in the right direction there. All right, Joel, you want to get anything before we get into the game? You want to just get right into the slate?
12 games, let's go.
All right, we got a 13-game slate on Saturday, December 16th. Are you ready?
No, because I only did the ratings for 12 of them, so we'll figure out which game I'm missing here. But yeah, let's go.
All right, kicking things off at the 2 p.m. time, so that's the lone afternoon game. We have your Vancouver Canucks at the Minnesota Wild. Game itself is in Minnesota. Wild are -115. Canucks are -105. Canucks over-under is at 6. Overpaying off -125. Under at +105. Canucks keep rolling here against the Wild.
Well, first of all, we got to pay tribute to the excellent performance of Thatcher Demko against the Florida Panthers the night that Roberto Luongo went into the Ring of Honor. Many people are saying that they should retire his jersey, but that did not happen. I don't mind one way or the other. But anyway, honoring Big Lou there, and Thatcher Demko put up a 35 save shutout. So that was an excellent result. Panthers outplayed the Canucks maybe in the first period, but after that, it was pretty comfortable for the Nucks. Anyway, for this one, the Wild are playing a lot better, of course, since getting the new coach in town. I think they've only lost twice. Yeah, I think just twice. I know that they lost to the Canucks.
Edmonton, Vancouver.
Yeah, there you go. My line is minus 104 for the Wild, so it's minus 115 is too much there. Lean to the Canucks, I guess, but it's I don't have any feeling for the side. The Canucks have the best shooting and save percentage in the league. Their PDO is off the charts, but that's the part of that is a product of how they play. They're very clinical. They set up their chances. They don't just shoot the puck at the net and any chance to get like the more analytically driven teams. And they feast off the rush. So I don't read too much into that stuff. Though it is a bit concerning going forward because that'll regress somewhat. The total I think is where I would look with the under 6 at plus 105. The Wild still are an offensive juggernaut, but they're playing better defensively under John Hines, and the goaltending has been night and day change since they made the coaching change. So under 6 is the way I'd look, especially with how great the Canucks goalies are playing as well.
Yeah, I agree there. Under 6 at plus 105. It's probably a good bet. You can still get under 6.5 around minus 120, minus 125 if you want some of the push insurance for a 4-2 game. But I do like the Canucks here, and like you talk about their PDO, but sometimes PDO can be just skill based, and like they have Pettersson, they have Miller, they have Besser scoring goals, they have Demko. I think is the Vezina favorite now, so like they have guys playing up to their potential, and you might run out at some point, but they're a good team, and like they're in the spot they're at for a reason, and I don't think the Wild are as good as them. Wild lost 2, 1-2. Kind of, come back down to earth after that new coach bump, and Canucks have been impressive. You mentioned the shutout against Florida, beat Tampa Bay 4-1, beat Carolina 4-3, so like 3 and beat the Wild 2-0 to start that 4-game winning streak. So I think the Wild can, or I think the Canucks can, are worth a play here at minus 105. I don't think the Wild should be favored here, but the under is a better play.
Yeah, it's not like the Kraken with their when they had the best 5-5 shooting percentage in the league last year, right? And then you're seeing them totally regress this year. It won't be that big of a regression, but I don't think that's quite sustainable what they're doing right now.
Yeah, the Kraken. We'll get to the Kraken. Kraken play later. We'll get to that news. All right, going down to 7:00 here. We have the New Jersey Devils at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Game itself is in Columbus. Devils are minus 218. Devils puck line is plus 100. Blue Jackets are plus 180. Over under is at 6.5. Over juiced up at minus 135. Under at plus 114 here. I'm all over the over 6.5 minus 135. It is juiced up, but like we saw Columbus blow a 5-0 third period lead last night, led to the Leafs to only to win 6-5 in overtime. Devils had a low scoring game against Boston, but that's Boston. They're typically a much higher scoring game, one of the biggest over teams in the league this season. So I think the over is definitely the best play here. And, probably the Devils are going to win, but the Blue Jackets might be worth a look if it gets close to plus 200. They're decent at home, but, the lining injury is kind of significant for them. He's got a broken clavicle, I believe. So he's out for, I think I saw 6 to 8 weeks or 4 to 6 weeks. And the Devils are healthy besides that Hamilton injury. So I'm going to stay away from the side, but I am going to play the over.
I actually really like a side here, and that'd be the New Jersey Devils. They're playing a lot better since getting all their guys back, even without Dougie Hamilton still. Simone Nemec has come in and done an adequate job of stepping in there. And Luke Hughes has really carried the power play in Dougie's absence, and I think he might even keep the job when Hamilton returns. But yeah, my line is minus 227. I like the Devils here. It's also a bad spot for the Blue Jackets coming off of a big win against the Maple Leafs. Every team likes to get up for the Leafs. They always try to beat them. A lot of the players are from Ontario and whatnot. So after beating them, it's not automatically a letdown spot, especially when you were such big underdogs, and especially the tone and nature of that game, how it went with surrendering the 5-goal lead and then having the emotional win in the overtime. So yeah, I think that's a great spot for the Devils here. The line is favorable as well, and I also agree with you with the over though at 6.5. Large for the same reasons. It's a Devils game. Blue Jackets don't play defense. we were complimenting Merzlikins, and then he had that third period where he let in 5 goals against the Leafs. So he's definitely not all the way back to the old Elvis. So yeah, not great goaltending on either side. So yeah, over 6.5 would be a bet as well.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be a spot where I would take the Devils on the puck line. Devils have only won 6 games by 2 or more goals out of their 15 wins this season. You know, Columbus can play games close. They beat the Leafs. You know, they lose by 2 sometimes, but they play tough games. So I wouldn't advise to the puck line.
Yeah, if you just want one bet, you just bet the Devils team total over combined.
Yeah, that's a good look there. I'm not sure what that's at. All right, going down to 7 o'clock here. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Game itself is in Toronto. Maple Leafs are -142. Penguins are +120. Over-unders at 6.5. Overpaying off -130 with the under at +110. Jolie here. What do you got for between Talon's 2 favorite teams?
Right. Before we get to the game, though, yesterday I made a pretty big bet on a guy that we've talked about before. We kind of hinted at it. It could be a good bet here and there. I think Talon actually bet it. So and that is Sidney Crosby to win the Hart Trophy. He's all the way at 150 to 1. Unfortunately, at books that I have no access to. The only one that I do have access to, they only put a few dollars on it, but I still ran another book, 100 to 1. Bet as much as I could there, so it's not just a pizza bet for me. It's a healthy position here, and the logic is this: the Penguins are being carried single-handedly by Sidney Crosby right now. Like he's playing as good as he ever has. He looks like he's 10 years younger, and when he won the Hart. So he's definitely playing well enough. He won't have the stats of like Kucherov, McDavid, and whatnot, but I don't think he has to. If you listen around to people who matter, people who have some influence, and people who reflect the way the voters vote, they all want to give it to Crosby the Hart. Like they're saying, it's a Hart Trophy year for him. He could easily win it, but this is the one of the cons is that the Penguins need to make the playoffs, but they're only +110 or so to make it, so they're only small dogs, and the teams ahead of them, they could pass them. Yeah, so I think they can make the playoffs a large amount of the time. And 150, 100 to 1, this is just implying that he's totally out of it, but I don't think he is at all. He's not so far behind the likes of Kucherov, Panarin, McDavid, Jack Hughes, Matthews, whatever. These guys are obviously naturally shorter than him, but not to the extent that they should all be 10 to 1 or less, while Sid is 150, 100 to 1. I think that he's miles ahead of a lot of the guys in front of him, and I think he's going to be in the mix at the end of the year. Also, another good reason why I like to bet this now is that we've talked like for the past 3 weeks how shitty the Penguins power play has been. But in the past 2 games, they look to have figured out. I think they scored 3 power play goals in the 2 games. And if that gets going, who's going to get the points? It's going to be Sidney Crosby. So he could accumulate some more points. I think that he actually has the second most in the league, 5-on-5 points. I think I saw that stat. But anyway, he's way up there in terms of the 5-on-5. So if he can get the power play points in addition to the 5-on-5, Sidney Crosby is actually going to maybe not quite catch Kucherov, McDavid, but he's going to at least keep this pace. And he's on a good enough pace as is to win the Hart. And finally, it's Penguins versus the Leafs, and Sidney Crosby historically dominates the Leafs, so I could easily see him having a multi-point night here, which makes this the perfect entry point. It's back Sidney Crosby for the Hart Trophy. And as for the game, you want to say anything about that?
Oh yeah, no, I was looking at his stats and whatnot, because I was thinking, I'm thinking he's not going to get the stats to catch Kucherov or even McKinnon. I think McKinnon's underpriced right now. But he has 31 points, 25 of them are at even strength, which I'm not sure if that's 5-on-5. McKinnon leads the league with 28. Gensel, Kucherov there, Reinhart. But like you said, the power play gets going. And some of these guys ahead of him, it's just so dumb. Jason Robertson, 100 to 1. Kyle Connor, who's out 6 to 8 weeks, is 75 to 1. Braden Point, 75 to 1. Crosby should not be 100 to 1. I don't think he's going to win it, but it is a good point to get in, and either if you're hedging a bet, or if you have adding it to your portfolio, something that you can even if you put $5 on it now, you could win 500 or hedge or cash out down the road. So I think it's a good look. And I do think Talon got that back a while ago, because Talon doesn't post screenshots in the chat, but when he posts screen in the Discord, he posts his betting slips. So I do appreciate him for that.
For sure. Yeah. Obviously, he's unlikely to win. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, he should be the favorite or whatever, but just grabbing this number, it could be a huge payout. And this shit happens. Like that's why these award markets are so fun to bet, because when else do you have a realistic shot of hitting 150 to 1? Not very often in other markets. But yeah, anyway, this game is so naturally I'm if I'm betting Cindy Crosby, I have to think that they have a chance to win in this one. Otherwise, why would I bet them now? And that's absolutely the case. My line is -118 or -116 for the Leafs here. They are all the way up at -142. I don't think that's justified. They've still got that sickness running through the team. We saw how terribly they played in the first 40 minutes against the Blue Jackets, and then they pulled it out of their ass there, that 5-5 comeback OT loss. That's actually the first time in history that a team surrendered a 5-goal lead in the third period and still won the game.
How many times has that happened?
That's the only time. That's the first time.
How many times has a team given up a 5-goal lead in the third period and lost? Can't imagine that's happened that many times.
No, I know, but yeah, I don't know. That's a crazy ass comeback anyway. But yeah, the Leafs, for whatever reason, they just love going to overtime. Whether they lead by 3 goals, they're going to give them up. If they're down by 3 goals, they're going to come back, or 5 in this case. So yeah, I like the Penguins here. Power play should be getting going. Sidney Crosby dominates the Leafs. And I like the over 6.5 as well, with the Leafs, defensive injuries, the injury to Joseph Wall, whatever. Penguins goaltending has been good, but they still have Erik Karlsson on the team, giving up muffins to the other team. So yeah, the over in the Penguins.
Yeah, I completely agree here that the Maple Leafs, they're kind of in shambles right now defensively. I wonder if they're going to pull off a trade for somebody soon, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean, the Penguins are still going to be battling in it. If they have the power play, they're going to be able to win some games. They won 2 straight now after their 4-game losing streak against some tough competition. Maple Leafs have been very, very up and down, a lot of high-scoring games. So like the over 6.5, -130. But yeah, I like the Penguins there at +120 as well. All right, we are brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the most fun I've had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season, and now I can play during basketball season too. You just select 2 more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. With the basketball, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 combo of 3-pointers plus receptions. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy, so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return, the player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. PrizePicks is a great way to play some daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN and use code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN, code SGPN. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, here going down to 7 o'clock time slot again. We have the Detroit Red Wings at the Philadelphia Flyers. Game itself is in Philadelphia at the Farg. Flyers are -125. Red Wings are +105. Over under is at 6. Overpaying off -105 with the under at -115 here. Capitals really gave me a scare last night. I was counting a loss. I was like, this is a bad loss. But the Capitals impressed me. They play stingy defense in the neutral zone. Don't allow too many rushes. And Charlie Lindgren was decent in net. So the Flyers battled for a win there. They've now had points in 7 straight now. Wins in 5 of their past 6. So I like them here at home, -125. I think that's a decent price. The Red Wings without Larkin, he's hurt. Without Perron, JT Comfort is probable to play. Even they have that chump Robbie Fabry, the chump Rasmussen as well. They're chumps up there with DeBrincat and Kane. Could be an Alex Lyon revenge game here. Alex Lyon is confirmed to start against Samuel Urson, but I want to end all Samuel Urson slander. Since November 3rd, I believe he is like 8-1-1 with one of the best goal save above expected per 60 in the league. He's 11th best out of I think like 47 goalies that have played at least 400 minutes. He's ahead of Demko, ahead of Saros, ahead of Allmark. So he's been playing well along with Hart. So I believe in this tandem the Flyers got going. I'm taking the Flyers here as home favorites. And then I would lean to the over here, I think, over 6 at -105. Both teams have been, allowing decent amount of goals recently, but a stronger play is just on the Flyers.
I also really like the Flyers here. The line is -127, so it's pretty close to it, but still a little bit of value there. And yeah, I don't think that I've correctly adjusted for all the personnel losses to the Red Wings. Is Comfort back for this one? I know you said he was skating again, but I don't know if you.
Yeah, I think he's probable to play tomorrow.
Okay. Well, that's a boon for them, but I still like the Flyers here, the way they've been playing. They keep rolling. Yeah, you mentioned Erson has been good. So yeah, I like the Flyers here. Don't have much to add there. For the total, I might lean to the under, but I haven't bet it, so I have bet the Flyers. So let's go.
Yeah. All right, going down to 7 o'clock again here. We have the Colorado Avalanche at the Winnipeg Jets. Game itself is in Winnipeg. Jets are +110. Avalanche are -130. Over/under is set at 6, both paying off -110. Jolie here. Now we go to your team, the Avs.
Yeah, the line here is it's enticing for me to back Winnipeg. I mean, my line is only -106 for the Avs. The Winnipeg at home now. The Avalanche have been a bit up and down lately. They have, it really depends on whether Makar, Rantanen, McKinnon, Nichushkin, if they're going, the team's going to win. But if only like one of them is going, probably going to lose because not getting a lot from that second line, the rest of it, and the fourth line is basically absent, and the third line is great, at neutralizing the team, and they have their streaky scores as well. But it's just not very consistent right now. But still a better team. Kyle Connor's a huge blow to the Jets. They score few enough goals as is, so they're really going to rely on their defensive structure and goaltending to win games from now the next 2 months. The line says take the Jets, but subjectively, I think the Avs win this game. I think that they can break it open here. McKinnon tends to play well in Canada, particularly Western Canada for whatever reason. So yeah, I like the Avs here with as long as the goaltending doesn't undermine them, because that's also been a problem with Georgiev having a tough first third of the season. Prosvetov has actually been a decent backup, so no real drop off from start to backup for the Avs. But yeah, give me the Avs. No real feel for the total. The Avs are all games are all going over these days, given the goaltending and defensive lapses. So I'm not gonna touch the under anymore for Avs games. But yeah, give me the -130 for the Avs. Even though it's a steep price, I'll still lay it.
Yeah, I'm going with the Avs here as well. At -130, back-to-back wins, scoring 5 against Buffalo, 6 against Calgary after back-to-back losses. Winnipeg coming back home. They went to Colorado, went out to California. It's going to be their fourth game in seven nights, I believe. So one more than every other night. Had a good road trip, but I think coming back home, they're not going to be as sharp, especially without Kyle Connor there. Even though they did beat the Kings there in LA, which is always tough, but I think the Avs are just a better team. When Hellebuyck hasn't been playing great, and as you mentioned, Prosvetov, he had the shutout allowed 0 in he came in for Georgiev, and then Prosvetov allowed 1 goal on 31 shots against the Sabres there. Hellebuyck has been playing better, so maybe a lean to the under here, under 6, -110, but the better play would be the Avs at -130.
Preds, let's fucking go. Overtime goal, looks like.
Yeah,
6-5.
High scoring one there. That was Lankinen versus Antti Ranta there. So there was just no goaltending at all.
Yeah, Salami's looking good.
Yeah. All right, going down to 7 o'clock again. We have the New York Islanders at the Montreal Canadiens. Game itself is in Montreal. Canadiens are +120. Islanders are -142. Over/under is set at 6. Overpaying off -115. The under is at minus 105 here. Islanders going to be on a back-to-back. They just took the lead against the Bruins at home on the power play. They're up 4-3 now. Montreal had a night off tonight. They played on Wednesday, last home game against the Penguins. They lost that one in overtime or in a shootout. Now, they've been playing decent hockey recently. A few one-goal losses in there. So I think the Habs here might be the play at plus 120. I mentioned last show the Islanders have been getting extremely lucky with these one-goal wins, overtime wins, comeback wins, and they have to run out of gas sometime. And I think a border crossing game here against a hungry, younger kind of Montreal team that's just playing decent hockey right now. I think plus 120 is a good look. Also, it's going to be Varlamov, who I know has maybe been better than Sorokin this season, but I would much rather have Sorokin in that for the Islanders. So give me the Habs here at plus 120.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I don't have too much to add. Actually, you mentioned all the points. My line is only minus one. This is the game that I missed. I guess because they're on the back-to-back, I missed in the odds. So I don't have a number for this game, but I'm sure that it's. I can look at my ratings between the teams and have a guess.
Bruins just tied it up 4-4 now.
Yeah,
hopefully that game goes to overtime. I did bet that.
Bad bet by me taking the under 6. But come on, a Bruins and an Oilers game with 9 goals. What the fuck? Yeah, as for this one. Yeah, I only have 19 points separated between the two, which isn't very much. So it's definitely not minus 142 for the road team. Nothing, nowhere close. So yeah, give me the Habs here, plus 120, largely for the reasons you said. And I still lean to the under, but I like it better if we're on a back-to-back for the Isles. Those games typically tend to go over more often than not.
All right, going down to 7 o'clock again. The final 7 o'clock game on the docket, we have the New York Rangers at the Boston Bruins. Game itself is in Boston at the Gardens. Bruins are minus 125. Rangers are plus 105. Over-under is at 6. Overpaying off plus 100 with the under at minus 120 here. Both teams going to be on a back-to-back. The Rangers just beat the Ducks at home with Jonathan Quick in net. I think that was a 4-1 final, maybe 5-1. 5-1 final there. Bruins in a hard-fought game right now on Long Island. They started Allmark in that one, so it should be Swayman tomorrow here. So, Rangers finishing their game a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit less travel being in the city rather than on Long Island. But key point here is the Rangers have played 3 games on a back-to-back. They've won all 3. The Bruins are 2-1, but their wins came against, I think, Columbus and Anaheim, and their loss came against the Rangers at MSG after the Rangers won in Philadelphia the day before here. So Rangers are going to have the better goalie, even though Swayman's, a capable backup to Allmark and arguably playing better. But you got Shesterkin, you got the Rangers playing well now. The Rangers have won or they bounced back from that bad loss against the Leafs. I think they had a few power play goals today, so they're getting going. So yeah, give me the Rangers here as road dogs plus 105. And then for a total, I guess I'd lean to the over 6 at plus 100 just because, the last meeting was 7-4, but probably a stronger play on the Rangers.
I agree with all of that. The injuries to the Bruins are really adding up, and now they had a load management day for Matt Pourtois tonight, so he'll be back in the lineup on Saturday. But still, without Zaka in there, you got Connor Geekie. I think he saw him in the first line center role too.
A power play goal today, or Morgan Geekie.
Connor Geekie. It's too many Connors in the league. That's probably why.
Connor Geekie is I'm not sure if it's his brother, but I think he's on the World Juniors team.
Oh yeah, that's something. I got World Juniors on the brain.
Yotes drafted him in 2022, 11th overall.
Hell yeah. Okay, yeah. For this one, I lean to the Rangers here. I have them much highly rated than the Bruins, with all their injuries now. And there's Shesterkin in that. I know he's not Jonathan Quick, who had another good game today against the Ducks, but he's still got it in him. He'll figure it out at some point. We'll see. But give me the Rangers here. That's the road dogs. And after seeing this crazy Bruins game, I don't know if I could trust the under 6, but that'd be the only way I'd look for the total, especially with Swayman in net because he's playing better than Allmark this season.
Yeah. All right. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. So stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, going down to 8 o'clock here. We got the Washington Capitals at the Nashville Predators. Game itself is in Smashville. Predators are minus 130. The Capitals are plus 110. Over under is at 6.5. Or paying off plus 100 with the under at minus 120. Jolie, what do you got for this one here?
Well, obviously the Preds just came off of a game against the Hurricanes where they won in overtime. Thanks, boys. And yeah, surrendering 5 goals is never good, but they had Kevin Lankinen in net, so we got UC Saros for this one. Not a long trip from Raleigh to Nashville, so it's not the worst travel spot there coming back home. And the Capitals, I keep fading them. And it hasn't been working too great. It definitely worked in that Flyers game, thanks to a late goal that spoiled the under, unfortunately, though. So hit one, miss one. But this one, even though the Preds on the back-to-back, I just like them as a much better team. Saros and net, like I said, it kind of negates the excellent goaltending of Charlie Lindgren. Capitals, I know they played a couple fewer games than the average team, but they've scored the fewest goals of all teams other than the Sharks and tied with the Blackhawks. So they're offensively challenged, that's for sure. And I think that they'll be struggling to score goals in this one. So I lean to the under as well for that reason. Just the Capitals are strong defensively. They have good goaltending, but they are very bad the other end of the ice. So yeah, give me the Predators minus 130. Lean to the under.
Yeah, I want to take the Capitals after watching them in person and seeing them play a good game. But the Predators are going to have Saros in net. Saros is 9-1 in his last 10 starts, only allowed 21 goals in that span, save percentage of .932. So I mean,
really,
those
are impressive numbers.
I was shocked by that. So I mean, he had a horrible start to the season, but he's definitely coming back into the Saros form. He's won his last 5 starts. Allowed 1 goal in 3 of them, 3-1 and 2-1. So 8 goals in the last 5 games. Definitely love the under 6.5 here at minus 120. And then, yeah, I think if you take a side, it would be the Predators here at minus 130. I also want to continue to fade the Capitals. I mean, their odds to miss the playoffs are already so high, despite them having a good point percentage. So the odds makers see it. The odds makers see the Capitals are going to come down to earth. And Ovi hasn't scored in 11 games, which is, I'm not sure if he's just over the hill now, or if teams are focusing on him, or what it is, or if he's
not getting chances. There's no Backstrom, no these excellent players.
Is Kuznetsov out, or was he a healthy scratch last night?
Healthy scratch, I think. He's been scratched already this year, so I imagine that's what it was. But
apparently he had an illness, so he's questionable with an illness.
So he's been deep in the powder again.
Got a runny nose.
Yeah, Ovechkin, he's just not getting the chances that he used to. He's still there. He's not quite as dominant, but it's mostly just not getting the puck on his stick. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, speaking of Saros, man, this Vezina race is a bit of a headache. I was already writing him off as 0% chance to win, but if he's doing that, now I got to start looking over my shoulder at him too. These goalies this year, man, they're so inconsistent. You can't count on one.
He's down to 20-1. I mean, that's a reasonable price possibly to get in on him. Ottinger's down to 15-1. Ottinger's been bad, and now he's hurt.
Yeah, he's not winning because probably another high ankle sprain like Wall like that.
That's what I read. That someone said it looked similar, but I'm not sure if anything's come out.
All right. Well, he sucks anyway now, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, where were we? The
Caps Preds. All right,
now finishing up, I guess.
Yeah. I like the under 6.5 minus 120 and the Predators minus 130. I think we're both on those. All right. Speaking of the Stars here, going down to 8 o'clock, we have the Dallas Stars at the St. Louis Blues. Game itself is in St. Louis. Blues are plus 120. The Stars are minus 142. Over under 6.5, both paying off minus 110 here. I'm the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And I'm doing that again here, taking the Blues at plus 120. They did get the new coach bounce last night. Jordan Kyrou, the fans did not like his comments about, saying no comment to his relationship with Craig Berube. The fans apparently booed him during the game. He was choked up in the post game, saying he loves playing there. He didn't mean anything negative by it. He was just trying to focus on the future, which was being very professional. So St. Louis just a little butt hurt there, but I am taking him here plus 120. We just mentioned the Ottinger injury, which means that Scott Wedgwood played most of tonight's game. I don't know who their third string goalie is. I don't know if they would just start Wedgwood again here in St. Louis. But, St. Louis has been a pesky team at times this season. These two teams met close to opening night. Dallas won 2-1 in a shootout at home. St. Louis is a much better team at home than on the road, 8-5 versus 6-9-1 on the road. So give me the Blues as home underdogs plus 120. Maybe a lean to the over if it's going to be Wedgwood or some third stringer, because both of these teams are scoring a bit and giving up goals. So Blues and the over for me.
The Caillou character, the kid's character.
Yes. Yeah.
Jordan Caillou. And now he's literally crying, which is what everybody hates about that little brat. He's always crying and wanting and getting what he
Jordan
wants.
Caillou. We'll get the snap on that and tweet that out.
Exactly. Yeah, way to go, bro. You must know about these jokes about him.
He's in year one of like an 8-year contract too. I don't know if he has a no trade, but like it's not a good.
That's atypical of a Blues player, that's for sure. He's no Patty Maroon.
There's no trade clause, so I could see him being shipped out.
Yeah, Doug Armstrong. He's not his kind of player either. One would think, but yeah. As for the game, I want to take the Stars, even on the back-to-back. But the Blues, new coach in town, I'm not fading that. Simple as that. I can't even. What's my line here? Minus 125 for the Stars. So I don't get this line at all. I guess I have to lean to the Blues. I'll join you with the insanity, but I'm not betting this game.
All right, going down to 9 o'clock, we have the Buffalo Sabres at the Arizona Coyotes. Game itself is in the Shadow Realm at Mullet Arena. Coyotes are minus 120. Sabres are even money. Over under is at 6.5. Both around minus 110. Joel, are you going back to the Coyotes here at home?
Yeah. You mentioned both teams on the back-to-back. Sabres against the Golden Knights. This is always a special matchup for a certain ginger there, and Alex Tuck, of course, too. Can't forget about him. Then coming down to the desert here, Coyotes are playing the Sharks, and he's still 0-0. That over is not going to get home more than midway through the game. But Connor Ingram is net for this one, and we know that he's a lot better than the Malco this year. So I think the play has to be the over. I'm going to go back to the well here with the Coyotes over. Sabres, their defense still struggles. Goaltending has never been consistent, to say the least. So over 6.5 to be my look. Coyotes line, my line is minus 115. So definitely lean to the Coyotes way. And yeah, with the Sabres, I think his games against the Knights are kind of turning into a little cool interconference rivalry. So it could be a bit of a letdown for the Sabres here. And yeah, Coyotes much better at home. Give me the Coyotes. Give me the over.
Yeah, you mentioned those guys come back to Buffalo. Thompson's back. Tuck is back. They have Jeff Skinner out on the IR now with an upper body injury. So he's had a bit of a resurgent season there over the past few years. That's a decent loss for them. They're 6-8-2 on the road, probably 6-9-2 after tonight. So 6 wins and 10 or 11 losses. Arizona's 8-5 at home. They just got something at Mullet Arena. They tend to, they won the first 4 games of their homestand last time against the reigning Stanley Cup champions, Lightning, Avs, Capitals, and Blues, and as well as Vegas before losing to the Flyers. I think the Sabres here on a back-to-back with travel going into Arizona. I think got to take the Coyotes at minus 120. For a total, I would lean to the over there with you, but I'm probably not going to take that. But I did take the Coyotes here at minus 120. All right, going down to 10 o'clock here. We have the Los Angeles Kings at the Seattle Kraken. Game itself is in Seattle. Kraken are plus 136. Kings are minus 162. Over under is set at 6. Overpaying off plus 102 with the under at minus 122 here. Kraken looking good recently. Big 7-1 win against Chicago with Joey Decord following up his shutout with a 1-goal allowed performance after beating the Panthers 4-0. So 2 good wins there for the Kraken after losing 8+ in a row. The Kings have lost 3 in a row for probably the first time this season. They've only lost 10 games total this year. They're going back on the road here where they are 11-1-1. Seattle 6-8-2 at home. The Kraken called up Shane Wright today, though. They sent Ty Cartier back down. Schultz is out for them. Burakovsky's still out. Grubauer's out, so they have they got Decord and some other guy in net, but doesn't really matter. Kings are going to have Talbot, who's now I think the second Vezina Trophy favorite, along with Thatcher Demko there. So like the Kings here, minus 162 is getting a bit steep. You can still get it minus 145 elsewhere, which I would definitely take. I did take that minus 162, I guess. If you believe in the Kings, I would take that as well. But the Kraken may have something going here after winning the past 2. But I do lean to the Kings, and I would lean to the under as well, just because it's a Kings game. I could see them playing some Kings hockey.
Right. They seem to play better on the road than they do at home for whatever reason. Like the reverse lightning or whatever. The Kings line has been bet up a little bit here, even in the course of the last half hour. But if you could still find minus 150 or better, that's the only way I'd look. It would take a massive move to get me to consider the Kraken. They won 7-1 against the Blackhawks, but that was just the Blackhawks being pitiful. I mean, they don't even have Kevin Korchinski at the moment either, so they're losing everybody. There's horrible teams. I'm not taking too much away from Kraken beating them 7-1. Even in that one, they didn't have that many shots. It was just the Blackhawks goalie being absolutely pitiful. So yeah, I like the Kings here to get back to winning ways after a bit of a slump here the past few. The Kraken are a good team to get back on track with, because I don't think they're any good, even after acquiring Thomas Tatar today from the Avalanche, who was clearly not fitting in, and at least the Avs got a 5th rounder out of that free agent pickup and cleared some cap space and whatever. But anyway, love the Kings here at better prices. Hopefully you get a minus 150 or better. Even minus 162 is still a lean to the Kings. I mean, my line is minus 156, so it's not even that far off here. So love the Kings. Lean to the under, the way the Kings play defensively. Cam Talbot starting, he's great as well. And the Kraken just they can't score. So Kings in the under.
Yeah, the Kraken had to get some tartar sauce for the fish market up there in Seattle. So good move by them there. All right, going down to 10 o'clock again here. We have the Florida Panthers at the Edmonton Oilers. Game is in Edmonton. Oilers are minus 130. The Panthers are plus 110. Over under is at 6.5, but over is paying off minus 142. The under is at plus 120 here. Joel, what do you got for this potentially high scoring matchup here?
Well, it's a Panthers game, so I'm inclined to take the under, but it's the Oilers game, which means I'm inclined to take the over. So they kind of cancel each other out. Not too interested in anything really here, to be honest. My line is minus 118, so pretty much right in the middle. Oilers, despite losing 7-4 to the Lightning, were clearly the better team. It's just Vasilevsky was brilliant in that one. The Oilers had an insane amount of shot attempts, like 50 shots at the end of the game. But yeah, Vasilevsky stood tall there, and Stuart Skinner did not. Although he's been better lately than he was in the beginning, that's for sure. So yeah, I've got nothing on this one. Panthers 2 games in a row without scoring. I think their offense picks up at some point, but right now they're just starting to score, and that'll change. Maybe with the Oilers, bad defense, bad goaltending, and they can find a way to score. But yeah, I'm not banking on it to happen just yet. So I'm staying away from this one. Hope the Panthers win.
I think I like both a side and a total on this one. I do like the Oilers here at minus 130 at home. We're seeing more of the road Panthers from years past recently. They back-to-back 4-0 shutout losses in Seattle and Vancouver. They won in Columbus 5-2, but their previous road trip, they beat Montreal. They beat Ottawa, who was in a slide, and lost in Toronto here. So I think, on the road against a good team like Edmonton, who is red hot, they probably should have won that game against the Lightning based off, I'm sure expected goals were off the charts with shots being 57-22. And I think they'll, bounce right back here. McDavid has been red hot. You mentioned Skinner's been decent in that for them. And yeah, I think, coming off that loss against, you said you watched that game. You said Vasilevsky had like a vintage game.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was one of his best of the season.
Yeah. I don't know if Bob's going to be able to do that after his nice assist to
yeah, that was absolutely horrible
on the third goal.
That contributed to the Canucks PDO.
Yeah. So I like the Oilers here at home. Oilers are 9-5-1 at home. Panthers are 8-6-2 on the road, so only 8 wins, 8 losses. Yeah, so Oilers -130, and then I'll take the under 6.5 at +120. Florida's not scoring too much before their last game. Edmonton allowed 1 goal against the Blackhawks, 1 goal against the Devils, so they're getting more solid play defensively and in net. So give me the Oilers -130 and the under at +120.
The Bruins just won in overtime. You know what I'm thinking? I'm going to take their points total tomorrow morning if it pops up before the games. I got to look into the extent of Zach's and McAvoy's injuries, but they're still going to be out for a little bit at least. Their goaltending is keeping them upright, and I think that's a valuable long-term bet there. Bruins under whatever it's going to be, 108, 109 points. So yeah, that's the look that I'll be looking at tomorrow.
It's a good look there. All right, going down to the final game on the docket at 10 o'clock. Oh, boy, we got Tampa Bay Lightning at the Calgary Flames. Game itself is in Calgary. We got pick 'em. Both teams at -110. Over-under is at 6.5. Overpaying off -120 with the under at +100 here. This is the tough one to call here because, as we always talk about, the Lightning are not good on the road, and the Flames are just a team that I don't know if I can trust right now. They've lost 4 in a row. Lost all 3 games on their 3-game road trip in Colorado. In Vegas, they lost in overtime. And then in Minnesota, they lost in a shootout. 6 losses in their past 7 games. Tampa's been decent on this road trip. 2 wins, 2 losses, but they've been zigging and zagging over the past 5, which means they're due for a loss here. If I had to go with the side, it would be Tampa Bay. Calgary coming home from a road trip to Colorado, Vegas, Minnesota, and then only 1 day off before getting back at it here on Saturday. So a lean to the Lightning here and a pick 'em, and then maybe look to the over, but no strong feeling really on the total. Vasi is really hit or miss right now. You're not sure what you're going to get, and the same thing. I forgot about Markstrom's injury, so it's going to be Vladar or Wolf. So yeah, give me the Lightning here -110.
Yeah, that's the only way I'd look as well. Line is -108, and even that seems a little too kind of the Flames who are coming off that long road trip. And Lightning are they weren't great against the Oilers, but they were clutch when it mattered. They were clinical, finished a chance. Stamkos had his first ever 4-goal game. He's never done that before. I was a bit surprised to hear that. But yeah, the way that Kucherov is playing, the power play clicking, they didn't even get too many power play chances against Oilers, and they still managed to put up those 6 goals plus the empty netter. So yeah, lead to the Lightning here. Haven't bet it yet myself, but I'll probably end up doing it after we get off air here, and lean to the over 6.5 as well. Vasilevsky's been inconsistent, another inconsistent goalie. So after a great game against the Oilers, I think that he doesn't have quite the same game, even though I doubt the Flames put up 50 shots on him. So lean to the Lightning, lean to the over.
All right, that's the 13-game slate for Saturday, December 16th. Before we get into our best bets here, we got some consensus plays. We have the Canucks Wild under 6 +105. We have the Penguins +120 there in Toronto. We got the Flyers -125 at home against the Red Wings. We have the Avalanche -130 in Winnipeg. We have the Canadiens +120 at home against the Islanders. We have the Rangers +105 in Boston. The Predators -130 and the under 6.5 in that one against the Capitals. And then the Lightning at -110 here. Our best bets. I guess our last 2 shows, because we weren't able to discuss the show before. The Florida Seattle under 6.5. You had that hit. I had the Florida money line. They lost 4-0, so that was a loss for me. And then last show, you had the Jets Kings under 6. I believe that was a 4-3 overtime game.
No, 5-2. Fucking Jets
Oh,
scored
the
an
Jets,
goal
yeah,
with like 10 seconds left.
Yeah. So that was a loss for you. I had the Devils money line. I think that was against the Bruins at -115. That was a win. I am 10-7, up 3.42 units. You are 9-8, down 0.4 units. Do you have a best bet for Saturday?
You go first.
I'm taking my Flyers. Flyers -125 against the Red Wings.
All right. Well, since the Kings line moved a little bit too much, I'm not gonna go with that one. Let's go with the Penguins Leafs over 6.5 at -130. I think so. Yeah, let's do that one.
That sounds good. You got the over in the Leafs game. I got the Flyers. Those are best bets. You're at -130, -125. So two decent looks there. Anything else you want to touch on here before closing out? Any other futures bets you made or are looking to make?
No, just fucking go Sidney Crosby. I'm going to be unbearable in the Discord now.
You and Talon are going to be ridiculous. I mean, I did find where he's 150 to 1, so I will get in on that for a little bit, but it's gonna be a lot. All right. Make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Given podcast on YouTube. We're going live there for all of our shows now, so make sure you subscribe there on YouTube, and also make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. I'll read it here at the end of the show. And I'll also turn on the auto downloads to get the episodes in your feed as soon as they are published. Get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord, or you can reach out to myself or the HGP Twitter account at HockeySGPN, and we'll send you the link to get in there. Support system in there, guys. We're getting together. We're trying to win money. It's a good time in there. So get in the Discord. And yeah, I am Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
I'm Joel Meyer, and you'll never find me crying like that blues bitch, Jordan Caillou.
See ya.